line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet, not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up. Finger to the sky and a green light shining bright. The only thing I have in mind is the finish line. Check the radio.
Major applications and major racing to go. We have just only begun this season, but now we're back and we're ready to get things kicked up just a little bit more here on PTM Racing TV. Hi, everyone. I am Christian the Crusader Shriver, and I welcome you back here onto the show here live down in Kansas City, Kansas. At Kansas Speedway tonight, Spartan Logistics Management LLC iRacing IROC Series is back in town. They're back for some hardcore racing, some hard, strong battles, and we're about to witness it all live here now. So let's head it down, take a look at our starting lineup. We'll go on the pole and on the way down. Cody Harger in the 6'6" will be our starting gun. Is outside. Neil Quick in the 2. Row number 2, Vincent Shore will be in the 15s outside. Troy Radford at 94. Row 3 is Cook Quick in the 54 is outside. Bobby Hamilton Jr. making his back return here on PTM Racing TV in the number 16. Row number 3 is going to, or 4, excuse me, it's going to be Brian Rose in the 89s outside. Hunter Clark in the 18. Row 5 sees David Tremblay in the 96 outside. It's Brian McCann, number 3. Row number 6 is Chris Medford in the number 46. And to his outside, that will be Kevin McCann there in the number 33. Next row is on back, we're going to see. That'll be Carson Conway in the 82s outside. Brandon Medford the 83. Row 8 will be Kyle Pengrave with the 14s outside. David E. Brown the 7. Row 9 will be Devin Schofield in 12. Down Doug Wysocki piloting down there in the number 34. And here we go off to the charge. Time to get down to racing. Doug Wysocki at the 34. Chris Wally will pilot the 5. The 22 Matt Kopp and the 4 Mike Harper. The 1 of Aaron Smith, your defending champion. Then the 03 of Mike Hendricks. 06 of Daniel Vieira. 88 of Jared Winder. And then the 38 of Cora Clark rounds out your field here tonight. Starting off the lineup, we're going to go racing 150 laps to the distance here today. 3 stages, 3 ways to get her done and get the job completed. Hard racing all the way to the end. And the next gen Cup car version of the Chevrolet. the true testament of what these Gen 7 drivers are going to have to deal with and what they will have to bring to the table. The odds truly stacked up and evened out in their favor and in their speeds. All of it is based on control and how you handle your nerves down there, and also how you stay away from wrecks. Oh my goodness, look out for that 54. Cook quick. You saw him literally swinging it left and right all the way around, but he managed to keep it off on all four wheels and out of the wall protection and away from drivers. Great control there by Cook to stay out of the way and stay out of madness territory. You may be wondering, oh, wait a minute, did these guys just run these schemes last week or throwback week? Well, you're not wrong. But unfortunately, I don't think they wanted to switch them out just yet, so they said, well, let's keep running them here. Problems down there for Daniel Vieira and Jared Widener. No caution thrown just yet. We're going to take a look at the PTM Instant replay here. 3 wide salute. Look at that, 0-6. He dove it straight down. Looked like he was going for the end with a 3 wide salute. But there's the problem he made there, and then he gets caught up with Widener in the 88. Widener had nowhere to go, and then unfortunately for Vieira, he could not get the car back down in time, and it's going to have some troubles to have to work around on that one. That's going to be a problem for that Spartan Logistics Management LLC 06 machine. Back up front we go here. Watch out for our friend and NASCAR fellow driver of this 16, Bobby Hamilton Jr., making his return here to PTM Racing TV. The last time we saw him was the fun race down at Daytona. The start of the season was really the kind of the kickoff, if you will, to get everyone set up and get ready for the battles ahead. Kill out the clash, if you will. And now, well, he certainly is not forgetting where he left off at. He is showing the skills, showing his power and might. He knows how to run tracks like this. These mile and a halves are kind of his playground, and he is making it work all day long. Charging right up to the front here, trying to get around Cody Harger in that 66, trying to make a maneuver off. Now, if I'm not mistaken, too, it seems like maybe the draft got a little bit of a reamp or a little bit of a redux here, because it seems like drivers are getting a pretty good grip here, kind of a good speed down here on Kansas. I know they are running on the 550 horsepower package, which is kind of more or less designed to keep them closer together and kind of packed in. They really don't have too much speed to get off from, so really it's all boiling down to control and consistency and finding the right line to victory. Our Holla Boy friends are hollering. They're in the chat here tonight. They were saying, let's go, boys. They know who they are looking for. They're looking for that fit. They're looking for Vincent Short down there. They're looking for our boy and Brian Rose. They are looking for all of them in this battle here. Packing them down off to the back straightaway here. Field working their way down on in here. And now you see the 94 Troy Radford. He's keeping his distance, keeping it under control. What a showdown he had coming out at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. An incredible battle there, and pumped away with a W there. He told me earlier today that he felt that was a little bit like he had to kind of push that one in just a little more than he should have, but he is looking to hopefully charge them up and making the moves off here tonight. All the drivers here moving their way through the packs. A little bit of thunder's been bumped in, a little bit of rubbing and nudging here every so often. And speaking of rubbing and nudging every so often, I think I spied me down there a car I have not seen in a while. That's a pretty darn look designed up on that number 1 of Aaron Smith. If it wasn't kind of obvious, that I remember all too well. That is the same car, the number 1 design that you saw in pretty much that historical worthiness of Hall of Fame TV, which was the first true fight you ever saw on live television. It was that one with Cale Yarbrough and Bobby Allison. They're Donnie Allison, not Bobby Allison. Excuse me. I don't know why I thought Bobby Allison for a minute. No, it's not Donnie Allison. That's what I meant. But yeah, basically those two. What happened was they came down, come off the back straight away. They had ended up kind of colliding in with one another. And by the way, that was pretty much the very first ever race broadcast from start to finish that they ever had. pacing their way around. Cody Harger, a little bit of a bobble there, giving a big opening, giving a lot, and having to slow down his field there. Hamilton Jr. having to come right there with him. Trumbull now taking the race lead over in the number 96. And David Trumbull showing the speeds that we saw back at Las Vegas with that awesome looking Bill Elliott designed up car. Hammering down the gas pedal and letting her rip down there, making sure it is sticking to everything it guns. Field moving on in, everyone trying to find jumping, trying to find some room and some speeds where they can go. Look out for Aaron Smith, though, the defending champion right now currently. Has not had the season he feels like he's really wanting to show. He's had a few good races and a few good moments, but unfortunately this season has not been kind on the points. We'll take a look at that later on. Really the main issue has just been trying to stay out of trouble and stay out of the way of problem territory. He's been doing a pretty good job though, really keeping him safe, keeping up his control, but he really needs to start figuring out where he's going to find the grip and find the momentum from later on, because you got guys like Brian McCann who really are on the high end of the level point of possibly going into another season championship status. He's got one to his name. That was back in season 2. He would win that championship that everyone comes to claim, they come to fight for whenever they come here on the Spartan Logistics Management LLC IROC Series channel. I talked to Kevin earlier today about, how he felt right going into today. He said point blank, man, I am just so happy that I'm even in this race and I'm even in this battle still for top contendership. I've been wanting to do that for so long. I've been trying to get back there since last season. It's just great to be finally back in that place that I know all too well from a couple seasons ago. He certainly has, and pretty much now has kind of put himself in contention here tonight already as he tries to get up there with the field. And Troy Radford, I guess he just kind of left off where he was starting back in Las Vegas last week. He is mashing the gas pedal down and getting some serious momentum and runoff here. Gotta hold on to it, as I say. You can't give up the momentum no matter what sport you're in. I can certainly see that being the case here. He is giving her everything he's got on the bottom lane, making it stick down there. Meanwhile, behind him still, you see the 89 of Brian Rhodes and Kevin McCann going to duel it out a little bit. Kevin McCann last season was pretty much the only driver that was coming to the end that actually had a chance to knock down Aaron Smith. That week, it would go to Aaron Smith. That season would go to Aaron Smith, though, in a long, hard, drawn-out battle to the end. There was a possible chance that he could lose it in the coming races, but they would not be. And Aaron Smith would ride off into the sunset with the W and the victory. And speaking of having some troubles down there with getting a victory here, David Trumbull trying to stay out of trouble and keep away from getting into problem territory here. Got himself a little bit cockeyed there, a little bit out of control and off pace, but he managed to hold back the throttle and keep that car under control. It can get a bit hectic down there if you're not careful, and that is certainly the case here today. There's just so many obstacles and so many problems you're facing, not just with the aero and the draft, but also Kansas Speedway's got a very decisive kind of cornering, kind of turning section on these tracks. Again, the angles and the way you have to run off on the surface, it kind of brings into context of just how tough it is to even make moves on this track right, how it takes to even hit the line just right. It's a multi-angle track, and you get to set the car up really any way you want. Just, you don't really get the speed you really would want. It's really the main thing everyone keeps telling me. It's like, we wish we had a little more speed, but at the same time, these things are a great equalizer, and they truly are an IROC car. And we've said it once, we'll say it again. That's kind of what we think NASCAR is kind of going with when they were going to design this thing up. So I'm not going to lie, though, that kind of makes me a little sad, because now it's like I can't get my SRX cars in whenever that comes around. And come on, folks, like, you wouldn't tell me you wouldn't want to see the SRX cars on this iRacing sim. We literally, think about this for a minute. Just this week alone, we've got now an F1 Formula 1 base style car of this generation in that Mercedes machine, in the Mercedes car. Like, does that not like speak enough to just how much love iRacing is getting right now, and how how much it's been getting over these last couple of years. It's just getting bigger and bigger, and things are just getting even more and more impressive by the minute. But I will say though, if you do drive that Formula One car, be warned, it is a monster and it is a beast for those that do not know. Those are wondering what I'm talking about. It's the Mercedes AMG W12 performance car. Hope I said that right. Michael Fraz Rose coming on board here tonight saying, let's go 89. Michael, it's great to have you on board. Great to hear from you, sir. Coming down the ends here as well. Looks like Ryan Rose is pretty much in that top half right now. He's currently in the 5th place spot, fighting it out with the team. As you now see the 03 and Mike Hendricks putting the Goodwrench service, or excuse me, the Spartan Logistics iRacing IROC Chevrolet up into the middle half here. He's up top. He's up 10 spots here. And speaking of the hard start of the night, new leader Aaron Smith's going to take the lead over from Cody Harger. So drivers changing leads out pretty quickly and pretty statinly here. Hard to really say if they're trying to just kind of take it easy on each other to start and they don't want to try to push the agenda too quickly, or what they're up to. But I can tell you already right now, man, they are giving her everything she's got and then some, just by pushing up to the front as hard as they are. But again, I got a feeling that they're not really hitting their speeds up as much as I would think, judging by the way our speed and contact towing is. Our best lap times are skyrocketing to 30.75s, which that was set by Aaron Smith with his time and clocked in. Speeds carrying upwards of 189 miles per hour. 192 is the max I've seen on this on this race so far. David Tremblay, oh my. He got the bumper in the corner there off of turn 4. Manages to save and keep it from spinning out, but that little toe tap there from Brandon Medford could have ended in disaster. Car is okay. Everything's still working all right. No harm, no foul. Let him race. That's what it's all about. But as a driver, you just kind of think in the back of your head like, God, man, any little bit more and that could have been gnarly and that could have been horrible. Thankfully, like I said, no troubles. Just let them continue on. And let them continue on, indeed they will. Tim Schofield, the number 12 now, moving up the chains as well. He's got the 34, Doug Wysocki, right beside him. And Doug Wysocki, last season, really, to me, was kind of your dark horse if you when it came to seeing drivers just go out there and really put on a bit of a fight, put on a bit of a show. No matter when he came out, he was always that one guy you can kind of count on for making some race moves late in the game, but also making some moves when it counted most. I always felt like that was kind of a unique blend of control and stability for him and his team, and that definitely was the case here in these races. Falling back through the pack here as well, Kyle Pengraff, the 14. He had a great showing as well not too long ago. Had some really hard racing, some good moments in between. Really wants to, but yeah, just hasn't really been able to figure out the rest here on how to get back to victory lane. Dave Schofield coming on board here tonight saying Schofield in the top 10, and Eddie Rose saying let's get it done, Brian. The HPR boys. Michael Frazro saying yeah, man, Rose boy, my cuz. Oh, he's your cousin. Awesome. That's awesome to hear, my friend. Good to hear. Good to hear some love here for the family. You know, there's one kind of name though I'm seeing in the back here that I'm not really sure if there seems to be a bit of a problem or kind of getting control or ground, or maybe just trying to lay off for the moment. But that's that number 3 right now, Brian McCann. Now, the reason why I'm a little surprised why he's so far back is because we normally don't see him this far back in a race. Usually he's a lot more up in the middle half, up on the front. Although right now he could be trying to watch and evade any of the guys that are trying to push up as hard as they are right now. Which in some ways could be a smart strategy, could be a bit of a weird strategy when you think about it. But at the end of the day, really the strategy is based off of what you feel you can control and what you can handle. There are so many bad outcomes and bad outlooks you can get yourself into if you're not careful. And I think that's what he's very alluded to and very aware of. Maybe just trying to watch out for it. Maybe trying to evade that insignificant territory. Looking right up for the front right now. We've got another lead change. Aaron Smith falls back behind once again. It is now Neil Quick and Troy Radford back into the race lead. And remember, Neil Quick, last time out, him and Harger and them also, they had a battle there with that 94 Troy Radford. Radford kind of kept them at bay and really made them tame, didn't he? We weren't even sure which way that was going to go. That race itself, man, was just a hard-fought battle, and it came down to a last corner pass out of turn 4 to seal the deal. And problems down there, unfortunately, here for the 34. Doug Wysocki comes to a screeching halt. We've got a caution. Not quite halfway there just yet here, but we're going to see what happened with the PTM Instant Replay to our friend Doug Wysocki. Let's see what happened. Looks like maybe a little bump and running around here. It's hard to get some speed with these cars because, again, really, you can block all you want, but again, if you get tabbed by these things, they don't have much weight in them yet. So they're very hard to really kind of counteract. There you see right there. There's that bump. Mike Hendricks gets the tag there. Wysocki. Wysocki brings it up slightly here. Tries to back down. Brakes weren't quite kicking in enough. Smack dab into the wall protection there. Caution had to come out in due to a large part because of that. Jared Widener, by the way, is out of the race as well. He is calling it a day. He says, I cannot get this thing fixed up and ready to go back out. So that's a tough shame for him and an unfortunate break for him as well. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at our point standings. This is after 3 races so far. I promised you guys last week we would have it come back. I promised you, and here it is. So here we're going to see what happens here. Let's start from the very top. Producer, switch it over to the top one, please. All right, here we go. So Troy Radford, after that win last week, he's going to pretty much seal his deal in and get himself closer to the end. Brian McCann with that top 2 as well. Neil Quick and Chris Medford having a great battle there. You can see top 11 to 20 right now, a little bit farther back in the points. Remember, points, though, are based off of the stages and also where you come from in the finish line. So any kind of points you can grab in any other area you can get will definitely help you out majorly here. Everyone really in that top 5 is extremely close to taking down that top spot with 1 race or 2. So you can't say anything too much there. And, of course, the shocker right now to me anyway, Aaron Smith down in the lower half of the top 10. Not a very big surprise. Even Brian Rose struggling a little bit this season, but he seems to be kind of down and back up and getting it figured out here. We'll see if he's able to work this one around and get more speed off the corners here and through the track. We'll revisit our points list as we go along through the night here, folks, as we're currently under the caution flag. It's our first caution of the night. Although some would say maybe we should have had a second one earlier, but that is beyond the point, my friends. So as the fans shoot on their team, shoot on their guys for the night actions here tonight, race fans, we're going to be right back after this quick commercial message. When we come back, we'll have some more action here from PTM Racing TV. Troy Radford, Cody Harger, and Chris Medford will be our top 3 leading into the next restart. Tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, has been brought to you in part by our good friends over at Spartan Logistics Management LLC, by R&R Racewear, by Loud Pedal Gaming, smashing the loud pedal for your viewing entertainment, by SimSpeedShop.com, by Track Time Entertainment, and by 5-Star Graphics. A big thank you from Spartan Logistics Management LLC, iRacing IROC Series, as well as our partners and friends here, of course, racing out here tonight. Thank you so much. And to the fans at home, they say thank you so much for tuning in, and we are glad to have you back on board. Starfield getting ready to stretch back out into place, into position. Double filing back up for the restart zone. We're gonna bring him around down the front stretch, and let him rip yet again. And remember, with these cars here, of course, with that 550 horsepower package, these restarts are extremely crucial to their motto and their agenda to working the field in and getting some momentum for later. This is a major turning point for any of these drivers because every restart is going to count, and it's going to really make this one much more difficult to stay out of trouble and stay in ground for a chance at victory here. They will pace their way off the corners and through the field. Drivers ready to do battle once again. Pacing their way down off of the front straightaway now, back to the green flag zone. We are back underway. The field marching right off the gate. Troy Radford with the absolute barn burner start to hold back the field. Meanwhile, behind him, Chris Medford and Cody Harger are kind of drafting off one another to lane up for the field here as Tim Schofield has a little bit of a problem. Coming off of turn 3 and 4. Tries to save it, bring it back down. Does so indeed, but we got problems down there for Vincent Short. The hauler boys are hauling the grass down there, not the track. And Vincent able to bring it back up, at least keep it in one piece. But unfortunately for him, he lost a lot of ground there. He's going to have to make it up in the stage breaks, or the next caution, if you will. What a tough break to get involved in that mess and in that scene there. Unfortunately, you saw Schofield. He was getting way too loose off that corner. Tried to bring it back down and get it saved in, but it was too little too late. And the car just could not do it. Bobby Hamilton Jr. ended up giving the little tag there to Vincent Short. Unfortunately, there was nothing really he could have done there. Caution is out now. We've got problems down there. This time it's Dakota Clark and Mike Harper involved. Mike Harper on the number 4, the 38 of Dakota Clark. And this is our second caution of the day here. Under the night lights, I should say, not day. White. I must be colorblind. Let's take a look at the replay here, and it looks like this might have been, ooh, big little bump, but whoa, big lift up there on the 38. I'm not sure what happened there exactly, but that 38 got lifted way up compared to what it usually does. We'll take a look at the replay here and see if we can get a good look at that 38 and see what happened exactly there, because he got really in a bit of a bad spot, if you will. It wasn't exactly the angle you would want to be at, but let's take a look at it here. Everything seems fine here, kind of coming through the corner. See if there's a little bit of a lift off. Well, there's certainly a lift off there, that is for sure. Huge wreck there, and unfortunately has to go down into pit road. Remember, these drivers do not have any instant repairs, so whatever you do, that's the end of it. You just don't want to damage up anything here. You want to try to stay out of trouble. The reason why they don't have those instant repairs on is to make this as more realistic as possible, but also it makes it so where the drivers absolutely must watch themselves and not do anything incredibly out of control or insane, or really that can put themselves in a bad place, in a bad spot. Control and consistency will be the name of the game here tonight. But I think more than anything, I think it's going to boil down to, do you try to run the race out as hard as you can, or do you try to run the race the best way you can? So our field right now ready to fire them back up, get ready to get stretched into the run zone. Just wild racing all the way from start to finish as usual, but again, that's kind of what we're kind of used to with these Spartan guys. So right now, as we get ready to stretch them back in, take a look at our driver stats here and our driver lineup here tonight again. Of course, we talked about season champions. Once more, we'll bring up the fact that number 5, Chris Wally, still searching for his first win, really in a very long time. He's had so many great runs and some great moves, but just unfortunately finds himself in a bad place or in a bad spot time and time again. And I asked him earlier about that, and he's like, "Yeah, man, it's a bad deal, but you know what they say in racing, you just can't quit, you can't give out, you can't give in to anything. You have to stay focused out there and only remind yourself that it's you and your team that you're fighting for and you're working with to get the W." Well, more than likely tonight, I would say he probably could be the dark horse out of this bunch, because he seems like he's been kind of hanging in there, kind of low-lining it. He hasn't really done anything too crazy yet, hasn't really pushed himself up in the front half. You saw Brian McCann earlier, he was backing off, he was laying into it a little bit more, trying to look for openings. I have a feeling that could be what we're going to see here. That's going to really boil down to, I think, a lot of strategies, and based off of how you've seen the drivers kind of work their way off these turns, off these corners. Because at the moment, they are maybe taking it a little bit easier than they will later, per se, when you're down to the final laps. Remember, those closing laps, you're pretty much driving in a dead heat of the moment. You can't even think about it no more. You just go for it. Once we reach past halfway point, we will get then to have our stage brake caution. That will regroup everyone and stabilize them back down. Filing back up, double file restart coming up here now on PTM Racing TV. Joy Radford in the 94 will be the starting driver yet again. The outside of him, Neil Quick in that number 2, and I guarantee you, when Neil Quick's got one little thing on his mind, get to the bottom as soon as possible. Not even think about anything else. He just wants to get down there quickly and figure out the rest later. Back to the green flag we go. Restart them off. We're underway. Another solid restart for the number 94. He gets the jump early. Whoa! And someone got the jump a little too early back there. Mike Hendricks. Oh, he spins it right around town. He goes. Matt Kopp involved. Bobby Hamilton Jr. getting caught up. David E. Brown caught in there as well. Caution flag is out. And good Lord Almighty, that was a wild, wild restart there. I'm not sure where that one started or transferred for, but we'll take a look at the PTM instant replay. And Bobby Hamilton Jr., I'm getting word right now, got damaged up. He's out. Car is too damaged up to repair. Tim Schofield just kind of collects him right in. And you can see there, everyone trying to avoid, trying to evade. And that's where we saw it. But there is more camera angles to look at. So we'll see it here once more from another angle or two. Let's see what transpired there. This is Hamilton's look here. From here, you don't even know that we were going to wreck, and then you see this here, then it's like, what do you do from there? Yeah, you can see kind of the death boat there. He's just like, we're done, boys. We can't keep it going, unfortunately. That's a darn shame, unfortunately, for him and that crew. One more look at it. There's Schofield. He got caught clipped around there by the 03. Both kind of colliding into one another. David E. Brown just avoiding all of it. Does take some damage, though, from the hit. Schofield definitely with some major damage on that 12 machine. He's going to have a lot, and I mean a lot, of repair needing to be done. Same to that 18 of Hunter Clark. These guys are getting taken out left and right from the back and the middle. Meanwhile, the guys up front trying to hopefully sway it off and evade that kind of scenario. You know, and also, come to think of it, I've just kind of thought about this, but what happens when we have, like, the actual whole field wrecked in or gets, like, damaged that badly? Do they just keep going racing? Or are they going to have to go in and just get some pit stop repairs done? Somebody answer me that in the comments section, because I don't even know if that's humanly possible, but yeah. I mean, we've seen crazier things happen here on PTM Racing TV, so we can never be too sure what will happen or what's going to go down. We only know one thing, and that is expect everything and anything here. So field stretching back out and around town here. Take a look at our points list once again here. This just gives you guys an understanding of where the drivers are at in the points wise. And remember, you get 5 points for your first stage win, 10 points in the stage 2 win, and then top 3 from there. It's either 3 and 2 or 6 and 3, depending on where you finished in a certain stage. Obviously, stage 2 means a little bit more in the points system, and that really gives a bit of a help there to other drivers. But more than anything, I feel it's all about consistency and control throughout the race and throughout the event that makes or breaks the race for every single one of these drivers here. And we're getting a good look at just how tough it is for drivers to kind of stay out of that problem zone, stay out of that issue area. I mean, just take a look as well at some of these guys here. The damage on the 18, the front and the rear end bashed in pretty good. The aerodynamics are just going to be kind of ruined and tampered with there. There's not a whole lot they can do with that. Now, I'm not trying to insist anything in iRacing or in NASCAR itself, but you know, without that more horsepower to it, without that kind of other control and momentum, those cars that are damaged up like that, they have less aerodynamics and they have less control over their speeds and kind of keep up with the pace. Yes, I know drafting is kind of the name of the game. That's why they do them like that, and they're trying to hopefully keep them more close intertwined. But you got to remember something too. Even with that draft, that doesn't necessarily mean that they are still stable and set up for a long-term ordeal. Without that draft, they then pretty much just become useless because they'll just get put right back in the pack and lose all their momentum because their car is just too much damaged. Well, we're about to see what happens on the restart. We have seen before where you can be completely damaged up and the car is beyond disrepair and it'll still work, but then comes making sure you don't overheat or get ready to blow the motor up. The field ready to go back to green here. Troy Radford will be the man to jump them off the gun again. Off of field position zone, restart zone, in check and in play. Here we go, back to the action, back to the field. Harboring them off the run and off the gun here. Every driver for themselves. We'll dial them in, down, across, down, off the back straightaway. Locked out for Aaron Smith. That number 1 knows what laps he's rolling up on. He's only got about so many left to go. The stage brake is engaged and it's coming up very, very in due time. So now positions are going to matter, especially considering how much run you need to gain off one another. Look out for Harger. Harger with a hard charge straight from the bottom from the depths below to the heavens above. Now the race lead belongs to the 66 of Cody Harger. But beside him now, Neil Quick is going to engage with him with a full throttle assault to the bottom in the middle. Down he goes. Charges it off. Harger pellets and pass. Quick with now the advantage. Now he regains the lead. And Neil Quick getting a big moment or two off that. Big jumper in the position and makes it work really well there. Brian Rose now up in the binders into the fight. You see, though, Cook quick trying to catch up there with family member Neil. He knows he's going to have to be a kind of an assistance for him if he can. Down on the ends they go here. Field's starting to pack up a little bit back there. 3 wide salute. Here comes that 5 of Chris Wally. Wally trying to engage there up on Brian Rose in the 89. Here are the 3 of Brian McCann as well. Trying to evade and stay out of trouble for the most part right now. Not sure how long that'll last him or how well that will go for him from start to finish. But, I mean, give credit where credit's due. At least he's trying to keep his car at least somewhat at place. Now moving up ahead here, Kevin McCann looking to kind of do what Brian hasn't been able to do just yet, and that's move positions and move the chains. He's got a run off there coming down with the 14 Kyle Pengraf. Pengraf keeping it right dead even with him. Solid, stable racing so far. Everyone's been pretty much kind of up and even, up in arms about where they want to play and where they want to be at. Looking up ahead right now, Cook Quick has now engaged up there with the 1 of Aaron Smith. Oh my, you saw that 54 just literally drive that thing up so quick. We saw earlier on where he did that and he ended up getting a little too loose for his own good. Kind of got lost out of control. Car didn't have that happen this time, but he definitely got really close up in there. Up on the bottom to the top, top shelf, run off. The slider is engaged and the 1 of Aaron Smith had to let him on by. Tim Schofield with major problems on that 12. The damage is just too severe for him to continue. That's a tough break for him, but he is still fighting it out. That's one thing you got to give them credit for when they continue to race, is they don't ever want to lay off the throttle. They want to keep it going. But you just wonder in the back of your mind, you know, how long do I have left in this thing to work with and use? Neil and Cook Quick have worked together before, and now we're going to see it again. The family members are going to be able to keep up in arms, keep up in control, and keep it stable down in the turning zones. With that draft, remember, that draft is kind of the biggest point, the biggest key spot for them to make a use of and make a good try of runs here. Neil in the 2, Quick Cook in the 54. We've seen Neil Quick before in Victory Lane. Cook Quick's been ever so close, but hasn't been able to taste that, hasn't been able to get it just yet. Will that change here tonight, or will one of the old veterans get a piece of this one today? Hard to really say here. It's really, to me, it's way too early to even predict any drivers taking this one home, because again, these cars are just, they are so uniquely just designed and so crazily just packed in for when it comes to the racing side of things. I've said it once and I'll say it again, you can never expect anything less from a good race, obviously, than to try to figure out if they even have anything left in those cars when it comes to speed and control. Consistency has really been their biggest thing. We know that much, but will they be able to really watch themselves when things get a bit hairy down there. Facing up now, Brandon Medford trying to get a little bit of help there from the 89 of Brian Rose, trying to get him back in this fight here. Brandon Medford. Yeah, Medford, we call him here on PTM Racing TV. No, it does not mean we're calling him that other word. We're basically just referring to his last name as a nickname. Caution flag is out now here, so it looks like we're going to go to our stage break. And really, that may be the biggest saving grace here for the Quick family. Neil and Cook obviously will have to deal with the added pressure of that number 1 of Aaron Smith kind of sneaking up from the field. But right now, he may be only 20 spots up. There's still a lot of hard racing, a lot of hard battles to come. The stage break is always the equalizer, but is it going to equalize enough for any of the guys in the back to come back and really charge this one up to the front? We're going to find out when we return here to PTM Racing TV. Tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, been brought to you in part by our good friends over at Spartan Logistics Management LLC, by R&R Racewear, by Loud Pedal Gaming TV, smashing the loud pedal for your viewing entertainment, by SimSpeedShop.com, by Track Time Entertainment, and by 5 Star Graphics. A big thank you and shout out there from our friends here in the iRacing IROC Series. And a big thank you to all you fans yet again for coming on board. If you haven't already and this is your first time on the show, please do hit that like button here on PTM Racing TV's Facebook side. Follow us up here as well. And also, if you haven't already, check out our social media platforms at Twitter and Instagram. But more importantly, do check our YouTube channel as well, PTM Racing TV. Subscribe there, so if you want to watch this, your friends or family members miss the race, or you want to see something exclusively live there, we got you covered there, because we have exclusive races that go down on the track that you will not see on Facebook until later on. So if you want to get some live exclusive coverage, now's the time to do it. Subscribe over there and make sure you don't miss the beat, you don't miss the sound of the drums hitting down the track. Field getting dropped back around right now out of pit road wise. 96 of David Tremblay managing to get a good jump off that. Vincent Shore will follow right behind, and Aaron Smith, no surprise here, will be in that 3rd place spot. So our field preparing to get back down to business, back down to the racing here. Everyone ready to field back into strategy zone, back into play. Looks like Aaron Smith decides to go back into pit road here, maybe trying to play out a little strategy in his game here. So double file back into the restart zone. Everyone is getting back wrapped and ready to put this one back out on the attack. It's going to be interesting to see how well these drivers kind of hang tough, kind of hang in this one. So our first stage is done and over with, which means it's time to reel them back up, fire them back down on the track. Neil quick, Cook quick, Aaron Smith get rewarded points for that one. Now it's time to see who will gain more throughout the actual race itself. Overall position is going to be crucial here, especially leading into stage 2 break. Here we go. I mean, I know these things don't get as much horsepower as they should, but I still absolutely love the roar of these beasts. They just sound so elegant and so unique and strong, and I love the sound they make. It's just kind of a real hard. It's kind of like, I almost kind of like interpret it as kind of like a grungy sound. So it's not really a muscle sound, but it's kind of that grungy sound. I love it. Now again, I haven't actually heard them in person, so I can't tell you if they sell the same thing like this or not. But like I say, when I heard the trucks wise, they were pretty darn close from what I hear on this end versus what I hear on the actual real world end. Oh, speaking of real world end, this might not be good. Here we go. 4 wide salute leading down the back straightaway. Brian Rose, I don't know if that was a smart move. Oh no, Chris Medford's going for a ride. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That one might have been a mistake, and I don't know if Chris Medford's going to really appreciate that one. That 4 wide salute was definitely a risk had to be taken, but I don't know if that was really the time to do it. I'll let you guys judge that one in the comments section, but this was a hard running maneuver here. Let's take a look at it from our drone cam here. Watch this. This is an impressive display of control and cornering, but unfortunately it did not end up the way they wanted it to. Here's the 3 wide. Now watch for Brian. Here he comes. Down to the left. Thinks he's got a run. Drumbley's still there. He's trying to get it down quick enough. Medford tries to hang on. Slight tap. Got him slightly loose. That's the wrong end. Then Drumbley finishes the job. And unfortunately, just kind of a raw deal there. That's just one of those openings you get. You just can't get out of that mess quick enough. And unfortunately, that was certainly on display here. Here's another look at it. This is really kind of, I'm looking at that right side, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what am I doing? This is where I would be like, oh, okay, back off. I'm hoping I don't hit anyone. I think I got him, didn't I? Yep, he got wrecked. I mean, I will say this. I don't think Rose himself did anything wrong. I think it was just one of those racing deals where you couldn't really get out of it in time. If you're in that spot and that 4 wide salute comes into play, yeah, it's going to happen. So, Mike Fress is bumping his racing. I don't disagree with that. I'm not saying that at all. Although to be honest with you, I use that model on short tracks. I don't really, I don't go too far with the 1.5 miles. Number one, because I do not want to test these things on a 1.5 miles. Trust me there. But on at least on a short track, I know what the heck I'm doing when it comes to getting someone loose or getting them out of my way. Not that I'm trying to push them out of my way. It's just to give a little slight tap. It's like either get moving or I'm pushing you up a little bit. All's fair in love and racing. Everyone's got a different mindset towards it, but nevertheless, still pretty clean cut and pretty controlled to say the least. So our field now ready to reel them back up and work this one down on the track again. It's been just kind of a wild little day of racing here. Obviously, we've had some wrecks here and there. We've had some multiple issues with, unfortunately, the cars kind of staying out of trouble. But I mean, for the most part, it's been kind of even odds. Again, drivers have found ways to make passes and make good runs when they can get it. But really, the surprising part, and at the same time, not the surprising part about these iRocks, about these iRacing iRoc drivers, is that every season we've broadcasted for so far, we've always seen some new season champion, but we've also seen some new driver kind of coming in here and making a bit of a statement late half in the race series and in the game. And I think really that kind of all boils down to two things. Number one, this series kind of evened out with these next-gen cars. Number two, the format and the style base it is, it really allows drivers to kind of come up and through the shadows and through the ranks and really make a statement later on when they need to most. And I think we're getting another whiff of that and then some here on PTM Racing TV yet again. So as we try to continue on with this and continue on with the battles, it's going to be interesting to see which one gets the better start here. This time it will be Cody Harger, the man leading everybody off the charge. He is the one they must start from. He is the one. This is the gatekeeper. He holds the keys to victory, and he will lead everyone on charge. I'd say probably we'll get to about lap 100, and that'll be when we got our final stage break coming up. And that last stage break will definitely be the kind of the tipping point where we go from there. But back to the green flag restart here. You see those lights popping up on your screen. Back to the action. We're underway. Brandon Medford, the 83, now down on the left side zone near the 14. Kyle Pengraff trying to move up the chains on the outside. 5 of Chris Wally now moving through the field, looking some momentum to do. David Tremblay in the 96. Also trying to get something to work off here. Getting a good run down the bottom end. Hoping to make it stick and let it sick in. Brandon Medford, we talked about earlier on, having some problems down there and having some major issues. But he has not lost hope and not lost touch. He's giving her everything she's got. Quick back into the race lead. Watch out for Medford though. Medford is also right there with him, and even Chris Wally. I talked earlier about him being kind of the dark horse tonight. He's going to definitely be one of them. He is moving the chains in, fighting them out. Kyle Pengraff even doing much of the same, trying to help out crew, trying to help out the crew, trying to help out the agenda here. The 66 trying to get back down on the inside. Can't get there yet. He's kind of caught in a bit of a genjutsu, if you will, with how he's trying to face his way down there. He thinks he's going to get one way, but really he's going the other. Aaron Smith now moving from the track zone yet again. He went into pit road twice here. The first one was just to kind of get himself a little bit of a cleanup job. The second time was actually to get the car fielded up with a fresh set. He's playing very close to the heart and very close to the strategy here. He knows what he must do to win this one. That's kind of the uniqueness of the way he's been the way he races, kind of the way he figures things out. He's kind of, I don't want to say he's kind of a late bloomer in this series so far, but he's almost kind of a late addition when it comes to handling himself out on the track. Kind of handles his nerves here. He's had a little bit of that pace and go, kind of figure it out strategy mentality, but ever since then he's kind of found some runs or two whenever he's really tempted or going towards the overall grade of his strategy. You can see for that drone cam there, Neil Quick, he's swerving left and right around, trying to get the draft off Brandon Medford and going back down to the bottom lane. Remember, that is kind of the seize the deal moment there. He knows if he lets Mefford by him, he'll have to work off a lot more runs and a lot more speeds again. That's a lot easier said than done. And Kyle Bengraff now moving up the chains. Chris Wally evading trouble, puts him back from the bottom and clips him on the top. Bengraff, man, right now he's been pretty much kind of lights out on moving up as quick as he has so far. Not the hard chart of the night, as we mentioned. I think that's kind of got beat by either Aaron Smith or Chris Wally, but in this case, Bengraff still solid 12 spots up there with Brandon Medford, who's also 12 up. David Tremblay 4 in from where he started ninth tonight. Looking to maybe move it just a little bit further in. Brian Rose there right behind him, making his way into the field here. You can see the crafts are starting to lose up just a little bit. The packs are starting to separate. And the front pack better not be trying to get too far away from one another. That could be a bit of a danger zone. You can't let that happen here. Especially with guys like Aaron Smith and Cook Quick also kind of walking from behind. Maybe put on a little Aerosmith. They're trying to tell him to walk this way out here. Now we're past halfway and 70 laps remain here on PTM Racing TV. Spartan iRacing IROC Series down here at Kansas Speedway tonight in Kansas City. A beautiful crowd coming on hand. Over 20,000 fans have joined us in attendance. Well, of course, everyone watching at home here on PTM Racing TV. It's a lovely show and a lovely city and a lovely track to be at. And if the racing gets good, you know it'll get better. Yale Quick still holding the lead here, currently still holding the gates to the keys to victory here. Kyle Pengraff right in front of him though, trying to make some moves off here and trying to get something to work down off the Brandon Medford line. I gotta tell you right now as well, I had actually gone into a race here, not with these guys necessarily, but I had a few of my friends come up. I had about 10 guys out there. I asked them point blank, can we race these next gens? And even they had said, like, we're gonna do it. We need to get on a mile and a half to really test out how that draft is, how everything works around here. When we did, we did about 50 laps or so on the actual track. We kept ourselves and kept in pace and kept more under control. But the one thing I noticed was whenever I let off the throttle, I would lose so much ground so quickly that it ended up would actually kind of bolster and give me more trouble than it was worth to really kind of let off the throttle. So staying more in line with that draft was the biggest factor. But when you all settle it down in, you kind of dial this one up more as you go. You really just rely so much on having to put that pedal straight into the floorboards until you really find a slight opening in a corner to actually then kind of steer it off and then run it down on the track. They are certainly built as if they are plate track cars, that is for sure. I can fully comprehend that up front. They definitely feel like they are plate track cars, but I mean, we said it once, we'll say it again. We don't know fully what it will be like in the next year because, again, these things haven't even debuted in the actual NASCAR world. We don't have the full specs, the full comparison of an actual next-gen Cup car. But I'm going to predict right now that after we get past the Daytona race, and after we get past the first race of the new season, we will then get a good clear picture of what these cars are going to be. And then I would say probably about 4 or 5 weeks after, iRacing will be working closely with NASCAR to then kind of dial these things up and get these cars figured out, because we've even noticed here on PTM Racing TV that iRacing has been kind of getting more in line with what I think NASCAR wants and what, you know, they want as a video game whole. So I mean, it could be at some point exclusive partners. So that's a different story though, and altogether, and I certainly would love to kind of discuss it later on in due time, but right now that's not really worth it, because we got a big battle coming up with Brandon Medford and Kyle Bengraff. Medford trying to use side draft and side speed to his abilities here, and the outside line is really where he thinks he can get him out at. Pengraff though, kind of blocking his run, blocking his due here. Neil Quick had a great fight there on his hands, but he ends up finding a way to get Medford off him. Brandon Medford is going to have to go back to the shallow realm and have to work his way back in it. So much consistency, so much control. That's really all you can ask for as a driver, is just trying to hope and stay in place and stay in line. And the framework on these cars too, they are just, it's just so incredible how well they handle out on the track and how well they work off the corners. But at the same time, I will say this, iRacing and NASCAR as well, please for the life of us fix that steering, please. That's still, that was one thing I will have a huge thing I'm going to get mad about with them, is that they still have yet to fix that steering, and they have been working hard on it, they said, in actual NASCAR. So I'm hoping that when that update comes, that steering gets fixed as soon as possible. If there's one thing it needs fixed, it's that. It's not that it's a bad steering or anything like that. It doesn't feel like I'm really having to muscle the car. It's just, there's just so light and twitchy. Like, even with my settings on my racing wheel, I have that thing dialed up on force feedback wise just to make sure I can get a feel for it, because it's just extremely twitchy. It's really hard to explain without you guys actually going behind the wheel trying it. I've showed you guys plenty of times what it looks like in the wheel, in the cab itself, in the cockpit. But here's another look at it. Just again, you can see that's that slight little twitch, that slight little turn. You can see just how much that car moves around. It's like with the Gen 6 cars, you never really have that. Even the ARCA cars, which are the Gen 4 designs, you don't really have that either. And I'll tell you right now, in stock cars and in those actual stock cars, as well as street cars and the short track cars like the late models and the regular and the super late models, they do not have that error at all either. They're very more smoothed out, more basic. Punching their way down across the track here, and now it's time to spew this one out, kind of spread the track in play and in motion here. We're coming very, very close to the 50 lap marker to go. Kyle Pengraff has been pretty much locked and loaded on the bottom here. Brandon Medford been kind of easing in there too. Look out for Chris Wally though, the inside yet again, but he's going to have to fall victim to the same thing Medford had earlier, which is he can't get the draft line back. But the goodness for him is he's on the bottom lane, so that actually helps him make that pass, or does it? Brandon Medford gets a tag there from the 5. Wally had to back off. Now Tim Schofield going to be a little bit of a troublesome here, because he's going to get lapped down again. Also, be kind of a nuisance here for the drivers that are fighting it out on that middle and the bottom lane. That's not where you want to be as a driver, is seeing something like that coming up. But a strong pass there by the 5 Wally to get around him, and Cook Quick doing much of the same. Still rocking the throwback schemes, and of course still rocking some schemes you usually don't see too often out here. Of course there is that kind of that 80, well, I don't even know what it's called. Is that like the 80s like lava lamp style car machine? I know it's not camouflage. I can't remember what it's called there. It's like some kind of confetti style car. It's kind of confetti look on that. Good Spartan good. It's supposed to be a Good Ranch Service number 3, obviously, to represent Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s car. But I just cannot for the life of me think about what that is supposed to be. I know somebody in the comment section is gonna be like, it's this, and it's like, oh, okay, man, yeah, that's what it was. I just can't. I just can't figure the color scheme of the color count style of it. So Neil Quick and Kyle Pengraff right now still the two heavy favorites for this one to finish out with. As the laps roll down and continue to pace back in. Remember, with that last stage, it's going to be the real antithesis, the inevitable run that makes both drivers question what they're going to do and how they're going to pace around this track and how they'll manage each other in the field zone. So much racing to be had here and so much on the line. Obviously, there's just a lot going on and a lot of control and consistency that needs to be really addressed and put into perspective. And Kyle Pengraff and Neil Quick still doing that, and then some here. Pengraff still hanging on there on the back straightaway, looking down towards the bottom lane once more. Neil Quick trying not to open the door at all. He cannot let that car get slightly loose. Can't let the thing just get all too out of hand. Well, we talked earlier about Brandon Medford, but there is his family member Chris Medford, who earlier on we said got kind of caught off guard there by that little 4 wide salute incident. Hasn't really recovered since then. He's been just kind of stabilizing the car in and with what damage he has on that left side. And certainly the aerodynamics are definitely ruined a bit on that left front tire. Driver's side tire there, unfortunately, on the front end with that little damage there is just enough to make this car just that much slower and kind of hurt a bit. Yeah, that's a darn shame too, because it makes things a lot more difficult here. Well, pit strategy now being put into effect. Neil Quick and all them going in. Pengraff, Brandon Medford will fire them off down. And for the first time tonight, we're going to have ourselves a new leader. And yes, that scoreboard's going to be switching out a little bit here, folks. So please be aware of that. It's going to be a little bit messy for a second. Brian Rose, David Tremblay, and Chris Wally will stay up in the top half here. I'm back on board now with David Tremblay, as he's certainly 7 spots up from his position earlier. Started at 9th, now looking for one more up, but he's going to have Brian Rose right ahead of him. Chris Wally backing down quite a ways here. A lot of speed and ground lost in coverage here. If I was Wally, I'd maybe think about trying to go into pit road sooner rather than later here. Because once those guys right behind him get a jump off and get a little bit of speed built in, then he really is going to have to try to play catch up here. And that draft is not going to make it easy for him. Brian Rose, pretty much the master of the race so far. He's been kind of mastering everything when it came to the 4 wide salute, when it came to the hard racing in between. Again, although I'm still a little skeptical, and I am not going to lie, I'm still a little bit questioning, whether or not it was the right time to go to the 4 wide salute. I will say, he has been pretty much locked and loaded when he gets that run going, but now he's going to have himself a little bit of a field day with lap traffic involved. He's got the 18 of Hunter Clark right up ahead of him, trying to push him out of the way, if you will, not by pushing the axle with the bumper, but just the draft line here. Crew members letting that 18 know, like, hey man, you got layers behind you. You might want to let them by. They don't want to give them too much of a headache here. The 89 of Brian Rhodes still leading this one off, still giving everything he's got, and then some here, just hoping for the best. Got a whole field of drivers even coming back to the pace here and back in line. And right now looking at Brian McCann, actually, I think he might be the smartest of the bunch. He's currently going to be given about a lap down at the moment. But, excuse me, he's not a lap down at the moment, but he's got guys up front that are a lap down at this moment is what I'm trying to say. And with Brian Rose and David Tremblay as far back as they are, I think he's actually trying to conserve his fuel and use the cars ahead of him as kind of a low run kind of scenario. This is actually a brilliant strategy because that means he doesn't have to really worry about tearing up stuff, giving in too much. He can actually just kind of let the car do its own thing, kind of stay on track and in pace. Facing them back in right now at the moment, and the gaps are really stretched out far and in between. A lot of gaps right now between these guys, and a lot of positions kind of filling out. This looks to me like it's got a bit of a feeling out process now for these drivers. They're wanting to see what they can do and what they have on that spot here. Now mixing through the field here and kind of mixing up a little bit. The field has caught back up to the race leaders. Trumbull having to back off and let guys behind, let him get ahead of him. Brandon Mefford being one of them, Brian McCann the other, and actually Brian McCann is now leaning one step closer to taking away the race lead here actually. Look out for Brian Rose. We're going to have to deal with Neil Quick on the outside as well as Cody Harger and their fresh sets of tires. Aaron Smith right behind the charge. Neil Quick and all of them trying to get ahead before that lap down scenario comes up. Brian Rose, I think, is really trying to stretch this thing out to the very, very end of it. But hey, if he's not careful, he may end up where Brian McCann's coming for, and that was right about now. Before Mike Harper going into pit road quickly here, and Brian Rose going to do much of the same now. This becomes a field day strategy. Cody Harger back out on the track, and Neil Quick and them coming right back up on him. Here is the pit strategy right now. Look at Harger here. He actually did not go in when Quick and Smith went in. So that means Harger may be needing to head there right about now, or he'll have to really stretch this thing in more than we saw with Brian McCann and them. The stage break is coming up quick. It's coming up soon. I'd say probably got about 8 more laps left, and then he's gonna have the stage break come up. So I don't know if he's got enough time to do it here. Right now, this is your battle for second place here, as currently Harger holds the keys to the lead. Well, I take that back. Harger just went into pit road, so now this is your battle for the lead. Aaron Smith behind Neil Quick, and again, Aaron Smith has not had a very good season since really the start of this thing. He had a good race there at Daytona, coming up with the top podium there, but unfortunately since then it's been either getting caught up in madness or has not been around nearly as much as he feels like he should be. Mefford right behind Quick, with Quick trying to keep him at bay and keep him on the charge. Mefford has been looking for openings all day long, but still has yet to decipher and yet to really coincide with what he's needing and what he's trying to get for. It's going to go for all it's worth here, though, down to the bottom end, looking for the run. And Cook being able to block him just slightly there in the middle. Keeps his run at bay, keeps him at distance zone. But you know, again, is that going to last him all the run, all the way to the very end of this here? Because really, like I said, once you get that stage break in, they'll go into pit road, they'll get that tires, they'll get the fuel, and then they're pretty much just going to let them go out there and fight it out for those last spots in a hard-charging finale. That is the mark to beat. That is going to be their biggest deal here. Down on the left side here, big move off for the 54. And that was a major spot-on maneuver there from Brandon Medford. Cook quick, lost ground of time, and now the caution at last has risen. And it looked like Harger was going to go for that full run, did not work. Brian McCann went for the full run, did not work. You even seen a little bit of that hope and gleam from guys like, of course, Chris Wally and them, but it just did not go their distance, go their route. So now they will have to find a way to somehow pinpoint accuracy and take down the number one, because Aaron Smith is near stage 2 winner, which means he'll get some big points and some major payday in this one. But is it enough to upset the losses and the points he's lost earlier this season? He's got a lot more racing to go, and we got one last major battle on our hands. And it's coming your way here on PTM Racing TV when we come back. Tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, is presented in part by our friends over at Spartan Logistics Management LLC, by R&R Racewear, by Loud Pedal Gaming TV, smashing the loud pedal for your viewing entertainment, by SimSpeedShop.com, by Track Time Entertainment, and by 5 Star Graphics. A big thank you in large part to every single one of them, as well as the drivers that have come on board here tonight from Spartan Logistics Management LLC iRacing IROC Series. This right now may be your biggest moment of the day here. This pit stop could be the difference between success or failure. Coming out of pit road right now. Currently it's a drag race out. Aaron Smith. Ooh, I'd say he got him just barely there. Yep, Neil Quick is going to falter just one position short. So kind of a car license strategy there from Neil Quick to not quite pan out the way he was hoping for. And Brandon Method getting a nice solid top 3 restart here. So now he'll be up there with the field. It'll be anybody's guess here who walks away with this one. And again, with the points-wise on the line here tonight, that solid 10 points there really gave a big opening and a big advantage for the one of Aaron Smith, because that really helps him gets him back in that top 5, the top upper echelon. But still, it's a little bit of work down there. And the field going back in through their pit stops here. Brandon Medford will stay out of the bunch. Aaron Smith, Neil Quick going in. And Medford, Cook Quick, and Brian McCann will pretty much be the ones that lock horns here. One last chance, one last opportunity to gain success and gain traction and control here tonight. Which one of these drivers will be able to pour on the momentum and pour out the madness that lies ahead? We're about to find out here on PTM Racing TV. Kansas Speedway is up nearing. It's going to might come back to conclusion. We are now back underway and back to the green flag. You saw the points and you saw what these drivers are aiming for, and with 30 laps remaining, this could get very, very interesting. It's not a whole lot of room. There's not a whole lot of advantages here. It's just give and go. And hope you don't lay it out into trouble here. Position's going to matter here. They got to start making some moves and get them quickly here, because that's going to help them survive. Chris Wally knows that too well, trying to get him going on the outside bankings. He's lost ground though already. Brandon Medford defending the bottom quickly from McCann. Brian McCann right now tied with Troy Radford for the points top spot. And now he can lock himself into the #1 spot with this huge run off the bottom. He regains the lead, but look out from behind, from the depths below. Here comes Radford. He said, wait a minute, I heard what you said, Crusader. I'm not letting him win this one. He sneaks his way back into the fight, but they're going to be caught up in lap traffic here. Now close together. Brandon Medford going to get squeezed into the top side. Schofield trying to stay low. Let them run it. Ho, no! Troy Radford, though, got a bump and drag there off the corner of turn, off the back straightaway. Troy is able to save it and regain his composure, but I don't know that's exactly what he was hoping for. Cook Quick now looking to charge and fight it out with Brian McCann. Brian knows who's what's behind him might be not the spot he wants to be in here right now. If Neil Quick can get back up there with Cook Quick, I know he will probably try to make a move off with him. Aaron Smith and Neil trying to hang on and trying to help each other out. Down across the back straightaway. It's a drag race here between these drivers. Everyone trying to get back into the draft line, into the gracious of the speeds. Chris Medford now even in the hunt once more here, back into the top 5. He's not done yet. He's not quitting out on them yet. Brian Rose up on the top side here of Cody Harger. Harger trying to stay ahead of him, not let him get too under control and out of shape here. Knows he's got to keep momentum brewing, keep the control at stake and on target. Aaron Smith, very well aware. If he does not start drafting up a little faster here, he could be done for tonight. He sees the gap starting to close off. Starting from where he did in that far back at the end is not exactly what I would consider a bit of a chance and a half. I'd say it's more of an inconvenience to have to work around so many field drivers. And look at speed of drivers, field of play. Look out, Brian McCann opened the door. Left it open on the top side here, and then sneaks right by around. Cook Quick stealing this one away from him. Kyle Pengraff right below. New leader though. Leading a lap gets you points, getting some positions in, gets you even more. And Cook Quick's season far from over. He has a very reasonable chance and a fair stake at possibly making it all the way to the end of the cutoffs here with the playoffs format. He knows, though, if he does not win tonight, he's going to have more work to do. So really, any position he can get in any top spot he can win off of, that will definitely help his cause. This is how you do it. Facing the strategies in now. Look at this. Drafting right up back into position. Cookwick had literally got high, left high and dry. He had no one to tag with to get some help. And look at the bottom yet again. Brandon Mefford just swung it straight down. The BMFer just hold us down the line and firing him off. Chris Wally back engaged as well. He moves it into the top three now with Cookwick up on the outside. Ben Graf trying to stay out of trouble, but he's going to cut it close with the 3 wide slip between him and Harger. They'll hammer him off to the corners. No one giving an inch. No one wants to make a mistake. But somebody eventually is going to have to lose ground and let off just a slight bit. Brian McCann even getting caught out in there. Trying to get back down below. He knows they will not let him in that easily. There is nowhere to hide here. Look out. Chris Wally looked for the opening around Brandon Mefford. He couldn't get him to go. Wally literally looked like he might have a true shake at this here if he can find a way to knock down Brandon Mefford. But Mefford will not let him by that easily. You've got to literally just push the shove and make it work. Oh, he found a way to make it work down there. Coming out of turn 1 and 2. Down to the inside zone yet again. And the 5 with the charge. Makes it work on the inside. The draft now engaged. And Brandon Mefford once more is going to get half the dial back down again. The rear end damage on Brandon Mefford may be a slight indication of the trouble he's suffering through right now. Having to lost a lot of ground. New leader, Chris Wally in the 5 though. Unbelievable. With only 19 laps left to go. We have no idea where this one can go at. This has just been absolutely chaotic, frenetic, incredible racing by all ends of the spectrum. And that's exactly what you want to see. That's what you need to have, and that's what you got to bring to the table if you're any of these drivers out here tonight. But again, how long will they go before one of them gets a little too close for comfort, gets a little too impatient? We'll go to our flip cam here and finally get this thing working. I've been trying to figure this thing all day long. I'm glad we finally got it to work here. The flip cam just shows you how tight and how close these guys are from one another. There's not a whole lot of openings. You give and take and you get and run, but there's only one opportunity to strike it big and strike it home. Managing their way down into the zone here. Chris Wally still with the race lead, trying to block the bottom off. He knows if he's going to win anywhere, he needs to keep it there on that bottom end. Look out, Neil Quick though, tagged off of turn 2 by the 14 of Ben Graf. He saves it though and keeps it under control. But Harger with an opening there on the back straightaway yet again. Kansas Speedway giving a big opening off that back stretch. And Harger able to take it away from the 5. Now it's Harger's turn to the lead. Well, this is what NASCAR was looking for when it came to close cut racing. I guess they got their wish. This is incredible to say the least here between these drivers. No one has been able to lock it down. And there's no way to lock it down really because again, there's just so much factoring going on with that horsepower package and the way the car controls itself out on the track. We'll reel him in and mark this one off with only 15 laps left to go. Oh my goodness. We've had like what, 4 lead changes in the last what, 20, 30 laps? It's been all over the place. And Cody Harger seems to have kind of swayed it up just a little bit. You can see Wally backing off just a slight bit here. He's trying to get the draft to not work for Harger here. Oh, Tim Schofield, going to be a slight error there. Oh, you got to push him down quickly here. Harker having to drive down to the bottom again. And Wally able to hold him down. He got him off there. Schofield nearly getting in the way of the leaders, but thankfully, though, he was able to stay low enough, and it was staying out of the way of Wally. Down to the inside zone, Chris Wally is making it work, making it stick. Look out, though. Neil Quick is doing much of the same. He's got to go to the bottom and block. The 3 wide salute for the lead. Harger, though, with the advantage, just a slight edge up top side there. Brings it right back down onto Neil Quick. Unbelievable. Holy smokes. I don't even know how the heck they are working their wheels in and holding this thing on as well as they are, but they're doing that and then some here, folks. They're giving it everything they can and then some, but it's just amazing to me that they're able to hold the car online as much as they have. That's close corner cut racing right there. It doesn't get any better than this. Neil trying to do one last effort, one last hurrah. You can see the field marching their way up. Aaron Smith back into this. Cook Quick kind of engaging with Ben Graff a little bit. Bags him on the side there. Gets him a little bit of the fender. Puts a bumper to him. Watch out for Aaron Smith, though. Here he comes in the number 1. He's trying to find a way around 3 for the price of 1. That famous number 1 design car trying to be put into victory lane. It's been there before, but it's also been in the grass. It's in the grasslands a few times as well, in the back straightaway and the front stretch. Will it happen here? Harger trying to hold off Neil Quick. Meanwhile, everyone else trying to just get a move or a run on here. Right down the inside zone with 10 laps remaining this time by. Look for Neil Quick to the goal to run. Side by side off, Harger and trying to work with it. Wally will not go in just yet. He knows what he's got to do here. He doesn't want to show his hand. He doesn't want him to get the right idea that he will make the move now. Neil Quick's your new leader. Man, oh man, I'm about out of breath for this one. I don't know how the heck they could keep this one going as long as they have, but they're going to keep it doing it. Look out, the Harger to the inside. Yet again, looking for the runoff while he's going back down low. He's going to look for the block. Can he block him? No, he'll draft him. Now Quick blocks. A little bit of movement back there for Chris Mefford. And that 46 getting kind of tangled up there with the 3 of Brian McCann. I'm not sure if Brian and him are just kind of close cut corner racing, or there may be something slightly erroring them with the draft line. All we know is if you're not in that top 5 right now, you might as well consider your chances down and out unless you can catch a break here. The draft is extremely crucial here, and it's very problematic here. The 5 trying to hang in it just a little bit more, trying to push the draft. He got a run out there Quick, but Quick's going to get a big book here in the turn. He's going to get a lot of help going to that corner. Wally's going to have to try to sneak it in just a little bit, try to stick the run down the bottom once more. Aaron Smith may be driving up there with him. Oh, he will. And now Harger left a little bit in that high and dry state. Draft to back him off. 5 back down low yet again. Some of the best racing I've seen in quite some time from all drivers here. And the Spartan iRacing IROC Series are proving it that they can do anything here with they put their minds to. This is an incredible battle, to say the least still. How are they able to keep... I'm not even saying that line anymore. I've said it too many times. I can't even think of anything. They just, I'm trying to just let the racing go for themselves and try to call it as I see it, but there's so much you can even try to figure out. You see the damage on Harger, and you see the clear cut work here off the rest of these guys. Everyone has been pretty clean cut. I had opened my big fat mouth on that one. Brad Bedford gets clear cut in the front straightaway. He got sent to the shallow room, got sent into the grassy plains. Now the whole field trying to get back off from that and hope for the best. His family member Chris was able to stay with it. Aaron Smith, though, is right up there with the field, the number 1, trying to get one last hurrah in. He's been smart racing this thing all day long. Does he have time to try to defend it? Try to show these guys this wasn't a fluke, that he was being very characteristic and very smart throughout this entire session. Without that draft, though, they can't really make a huge run-up on Neil Quick. They're going to have to find some help. Vincent Short having major problems down there for the 15. He'll have to call this one a night and just shut it off to another loss. Smith and Wally trying everything they can to get something on Quick. Quick, though, is defending for everything he's got. He's been in this spot before. Remember last week at Vegas? He's trying not to make the same mistake twice. A bump there from Smith to Wally. Got him a little loose there, but he manages to hold it down. Which one's it going to be? 4 laps to go. Absolutely furious racing and major implications on the line here. Pengraf. I thought he was going to try to draft with Medford and get him back over the front. Instead, he says, no, forget that. I'm going for the win, bud. Pengraf got a run off there on Medford. Now trying to draft there up to Smith. You can see McCann and looks like Quick as well. They're all back. They're all fighting. Smith going up top. Outside line. Trying to drive it in. Look out. Well, he's going to drive it up slightly. He manages to hold it down. While he holds it, Pengraf going right in between though. Now it's Chris Medford trying to hold him on. It's Chris and Chris now working together. Neil Quick is loving every minute of this though because he knows they're just getting one more tangled up with one another. This is incredible battling to stay the least. 2 laps to go. White flag comes out next time by. Which one's it going to be though? Aaron Smith has fought so hard, done everything he can possibly. Chanced it out with the pit stops, with the runoffs, and now Neil sees Smith's catching him. He goes to the bottom, trying to get him off the draft. We're going to the white flag this next time by, off of corner 3 and 4. Neil's going to see white, but will he see checkers in the lead? We're going to see right now, white flag is out. Chris Wally looking for one more chance, one last opportunity. He's open. Smith will go to the outside and try to make a run on Quick. He's open for some help. Neil Quick is going to get a huge run off the back straightaway. They brought him down there. They're going for the run off here. Everyone now moving in position. Smith got laid down on top. Neil Quick out of the bottom. Round him off to the field. Off a corner 4. Looking for the last ditch effort. They bop him off the corner there. Look at Aaron Smith the outside. Oh my goodness. It's a finish to the deadline. A photo finish. And Aaron Smith and the one will somehow, someway knock down Neil Quick. Oh my goodness. Wow. Oh my goodness. Aaron Smith. The last ditch effort. The last ditch pass. Just like we saw in Las Vegas last week. A major runoff and a big finish. Neil Quick gets deciphered. I thought it was literally by 1,000th of a second. I think it may have been. We're getting word it was by 100th of a second. I'm not believing that for 1 minute. That had to have been 10,000th of a second finish. They were dead heat at the finish line. You've got to be kidding me. Aaron Smith caught a huge break with that last-ditch effort on the outside of a 3 and 4. And I don't know how Neil Quick's going to feel about that one. That one may be something he thinks about for a little while, but that was clear-cut. Some of the hardest racing we've ever seen from these drivers. What are the results? There it is. There it is right there, folks. 7,000ths of a second finish to the line. It was a dead heat finish. And look, judging at Neil Quick right now, I don't think he's too mad at all. I think he's just kind of putting it up there with the field. Unreal, folks. I've seen crazy finishes before. I've seen the 10,000th of a second finish twice here on PTM Racing TV, but I have not seen a finish like that in quite some time. And this year, you know, we're going to end this year off on a high note. Why not with that one? What a race and a finish here, to say the least. It's time to talk with the top 3 drivers here, folks. Let's listen in with them. And right about now, I got a feeling Chris Wally may be very happy, but at the same time, maybe kind of a little sad about this one. But let's listen in with him right now. He joins me now here on PTM Racing TV. Your top 5 finishers here tonight, or we'll join here with the 3rd place finisher. 17 spots up, Chris Wally in the 5. Congratulations on that, sir. And you gave it everything and then some, but it just was not quite enough leading to this finish. What was going down with you and the crew?
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. You know, it was a long night, long race. Kind of had the strategy of kind of hang back early, stay out of trouble. I think you hit the nail on the head. last week, mentioning that if there's a wreck, I seem to find it. So sitting there racing for a podium, I'll take third.
For sure, there. I know, obviously, you've been trying to get some major implications and points backed in, but I mean, if anything, I will say this too. It seemed like you had a few times where you actually could have walked away with the W here. Did at any point did you think maybe this was a kind of your way of winning it out here tonight?
Yeah, man. It's you got some great racers right here, racing against these guys week in and week out, and I kind of started losing the handle of the car there, getting a little tight on me, and then when I'd crack the throttle just a little bit, then it'd be a little bit loose. So trying to figure out what worked, and those guys just, they were a little bit faster there, so worked out for them. I'm happy with third place finish.
It's certainly definitely to be happy about it, and then some. So I have to ask you, as we are gonna kick it off here with you in top three, who do you want to thank here tonight for this finish?
Man, first and foremost, I need to thank my wife for allowing me to spend the time that I do racing with the league, doing all these paint schemes. So big shout to her. But our sponsors, Spartan Logistics Management, R&R Racewear, uh, Loud Pedal Gaming, y'all guys for putting on the broadcasts, Track Time Entertainment, Sim Speed Shop. If there's anybody else out there that I'm forgetting, I apologize. But we got so much help, and that's what makes this thing go. And really proud of where we're at.
For sure, there. Well, nevertheless, Chris, we really appreciate you coming on board here tonight. Thanks for having us on board here for this race, and what a battle and a race it was. The end for you and your crew. Congratulations on that top three.
Thank you, sir. You have a good night.
You too, ladies and gentlemen. In the number five, Chris Wally, coming away with a solid finish there. But I think the driver we're going to talk with next may have something else to say about that solid finish here, ladies and gentlemen. The number two, Neil Quick. Neil, first off, congratulations on a well-fought battle to the end for the podium here. Obviously, you had to really work this one in from start to finish. You did everything in your power to block Smith, but corner four, he gets the run on you outside and just by 7,000 of a second. I gotta ask you, what's your thoughts on that one, man?
Man, I hope everybody enjoyed their price of admission tonight. There was some racing going on. Uh, yeah, that last lap, I saw Aaron coming, and I knew he was kind of conserving tires because we both pitted, and I think we both came out like 11th or 12th on that last pit stop, and I just got through I call it the mess a little bit faster, but yeah, I saw him coming, and Chris really raced hard there at the end too, and uh, these cars, you just have to race with the your eyes glued in your rearview mirror if you're out front because you just gotta be able to kill the air or put a block to slow down the momentum, and you want to do that as clean as you can without wrecking half the field or taking out somebody like coming off before there with Aaron. That was a good race.
For sure, there. I mean, man, you had so much going on, so much really to worry about, and to keep a close eye on. I don't know how it is really for you as a driver because I have not been put in that spot with these kind of cars, but I would have to think that more than anything, it is kind of more of a mental grind as it is a physical grind, just to even keep these things online, really to race it as hard as you do with these cars and these drivers, isn't it?
It is kind of the cars were a little bit different than they were in practice last night, and I really thought we'd see a little bit more of what we saw the last couple of weeks with everybody kind of sitting up on top, kind of freight training. But tonight the bottom was a little bit different, but it was definitely the preferred line, especially when you got a group of guys in there. But it the cars are fun to race. I mean, it puts a lot of the drivers on the same equal playing field, and everybody's so close on times and speeds and stuff like that. It really should be. I mean, for you guys, really should be putting a show on for everybody watching.
Well, I'll let you be the judge on those last 10 laps that we were calling. So, but nevertheless, Neil, we really appreciate you coming on board. Before you head off, is there anybody you want to thank for this one?
Yeah, definitely the guys that put in the hard work and put the league together, Chris and Kyle, and definitely the sponsors. You guys do a great job with the broadcast, um, and all the guys I race with. These guys are top notch out there, and I'd like to throw out a big shout out to my uncle Daryl. It's actually under weather tonight. He's been being battled a little bit, being sick, and wish him the best and prayers for him, and kind of dedicate this race for him.
I think you definitely made him proud with this finish in this battle from start to finish here, Neil. Congratulations and our best wishes to you and your uncle there.
Yeah, great job, guys, and congrats to Aaron and nice run by Chris. So we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you for your time. Ladies and gentlemen, the number 2, Neil Quick, your second place finisher here tonight. Now at last, I think he's been ready to talk about this one. Here is your winner here tonight, the defending season champion, Aaron Smith. Smith, I've called races that have come straight to the wire before, but I'm just going to pull up that replay because honestly, we need to show the fans how close that really was to the line. You got him by 7 thousandths of a second. That is not easy to do, and that is certainly not something most drivers could even think to grasp to get this first win of their season in.
It was a pretty fun race all around. I'm surprised I was able to get Neil there coming to the line. He was one of the fastest cars all race, and we were cutting through the field pretty good there after that last caution. But fortunately, we both made it across the line in one piece, and we took home the best of it.
You certainly did indeed. And we've got actually the footage right now, just kind of seeing right now what that finish line was. You got him. That wasn't even really, from our angle, man, that wasn't even a full-on fender. That was like that was like maybe the front of the bumper and like half the tire that you got across the line. How'd you get him on the outside, though? Because you literally had to drive him in hard off of 3 and to get him into 4. You two were pretty much locked even. What gave you that opportunity to strike there?
Yeah, I tried to save my tires just a little bit at the beginning of that last run, so I was able to get that good run out of the corner. Same run I got Chris with on the outside, but I don't know how I got it that well, but it worked out.
Certainly indeed, man. Well, I have to ask you though, as you're coming off this, I gotta believe this is gonna help ride the wave of momentum going into next week and throughout the rest of the season, isn't it?
Oh, most certainly. I wasn't expecting to get a win in these cars, but I'll certainly take them any way I can get them. Looking forward to seeing what the rest of the season holds.
For sure there. So as we sign off here tonight, my man, is there anybody you want to thank for this win here tonight at Kansas?
Yeah, I'd like to thank all the folks at the IROC Challenge for putting this show on, you for broadcasting, and all the folks for watching. Looking forward to the next one.
Absolutely. We look forward to seeing what you guys got in store next. And Aaron, congratulations, man. What a race and a season now kicking off for you and your team.
All right, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the defending champion, Aaron Smith, the number 1, your winner here tonight. Race fans, that's all going to cut it for us here tonight. Thanks again to our friends over at Spartan Logistics Management LLC, R&R Racewear, Loud Pedal Gaming TV, SimSpeedShop.com, Track Time Entertainment, and 5-Star Graphics for everything. And to you fans at home, we really hope you enjoyed this one. It was a wild finish, to say the least, and a wild race. So, from all of us here at PTM Racing TV, we'll catch you guys next time when the green flag flies, and hopefully we'll catch another close finish like this one in due time.